Hello, welcome back to Hitchhiking Stars. It hasn't been very long since I've done my last video, but as I said in my previous video, I'll be doing 2 videos a week. So it's going to be 2 rather than 1. And in one of the videos, I'll be talking about more natal placements and be seeing like what they could possibly mean, brainstorming some actual astrological placements themselves as well. That can also be applied to transits whenever those transits happen. But on Fridays, as per, I would like to continue with the transits and looking into the week ahead. So what's going to be happening for this week? I think we're in a sort of a more restful place. I mean, I talked about Grand Trine that we had yesterday. So it was the Wednesday and the Thursday as well as a kind of a quick movement because it included the moon. So the moon moves a little bit faster and talks a little bit about those movements as a little bit faster than the other planets. So it's more connected with moods in the moment and something that we can sort of like take a ride with and accomplish some things or not. It depends on like how we're feeling. And but I have this feeling that this week has been quite restful, and it makes sense because it is the week leading to the new moon. So when there's a new moon, it's a great time for us to rest, to go inwards, to bask into a more peaceful time. Now, obviously, if you're having some kind of personal intense transit, if Pluto's on your ascendant or square your moon or square your Venus, then you're not necessarily going to be feeling this time as a restful time. It really depends on what's going on for you in your chart. So as always, place that in your chart, take it with a pinch of salt. But I do feel that this is a very restful week. So let me share my screen. Here we are. So this is the transits for today, Friday, the 16th of December. We still have Jupiter at 29 Pisces. In fact, we're having a moon opposite Jupiter today. So a lot of potential inspirations and visions and things like that. So there's something interesting happening there. But not for long. I mean, always whenever with moon is involved, it's not really for a very long time. But mostly what I want to talk about is the 20th of December, Jupiter moves back to Aries. So Jupiter won't be in Pisces for very long anymore. So Friday, so over the weekend, take this weekend to do your last sort of organizational bits related to that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction we had in April. And what were your dreams, what were your ideas, what kind of inspirations you've had? Because from the 20th of December, we're changing gears. So that Jupiter moving into Aries is sort of changing that sort of dreamy state, that more passive, receptive state into a more active one. How are you going to take action with that Jupiter? And actions that support your sense of individualness, your sense of individuality, which I think is that Jupiter in Aries sort of representing. Also, if you have planets in Aries, it's a great time for you to expand that area of your life, or whichever house you have Aries in as well. That area is sort of receiving an extra boost of energy and potential opportunities as well, which I think is very exciting about Jupiter. Now, remember, Jupiter doesn't take very long as well to move. So there's nothing to do with like, I remember when I was studying astrology and I was like, oh, wow, Jupiter is going to enter my 7th house years and years ago. And nothing really happened. I mean, I did meet lots of people. Yes. But nothing really happened in terms of what I imagined that could be. And I imagine like the best of the best sort of happening. So I think what Jupiter expects from us is a bit of action there. And it's interesting because it's Jupiter in Aries. But it does expect some kind of taking control, taking action. You know, someone tells you about an opportunity, going and calling, making that effort. Because if you don't, nothing is really necessarily going to come out of it. And I think we can potentially heal a lot of our individual wounds in leadership, wounds in like taking action, being courageous, all of that stuff that Aries really talks about. You know, it's cardinal fire. It's like the first one, going first, putting yourself first, etc. So we can heal a lot of wounds and disentangle a lot of stories connected to that. So pay attention to that. That's going to be happening on Tuesday, and it'll be there for a few months, right? Especially January, February. etc. Until that Jupiter moves to Taurus, which will be happening next year, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So Jupiter moving into Aries is also at the same time that we have that Mars sextile Chiron, which I think is very beautiful aspect, really. And I really feel is also, interestingly, is a yod. So Chiron sextile Mars, and it's kind of forming a yod here with that South Node in Scorpio as well. So I think that seems to be very karmic, right? And it has a Mars moving retrograde as well. It seems that we can release a lot of things around anger, around assertion, around who do we want to be as individuals, regardless of what people think about us. I think Aries doesn't really think, it doesn't really care about people's opinions, you know, is that principle that's the opposite of Libra, of like people pleasing and trying to check in with how other people are feeling about your actions. I mean, it's really, I'm not saying become a narcissist and just do things and not care about people's feelings, but there's something about healing that principle there, especially connected with karmic things, because the South Node is there with that yod, the South Node in Scorpio, which, by the way, is also ruled by Mars. So we've got that Chiron and the South Node ruled by Mars, and Mars there retrograding Gemini. So we're really reassessing a lot of our old patterns when it comes to being assertive. So some stuff can happen around that time as well when Jupiter moves to Aries. So giving an extra oomph, an extra bit of energy there for us. And the other thing that I wanted to say is a new moon. So we have a new moon next Friday, 23rd of December. That's very close to Christmas and holiday time. It might be an intense time for most people because of going back to family and joining the family circle and getting into those old roles, right? I think because there is a new moon close by as well, it's great to keep in mind to take it easy, make it as easy as possible. If you have a Christmas engagement or something that you need to do, family that you need to see, try to make it as simple as possible, rather than that huge feast that we always don't feel good after eating that much, etc. Because there is a new moon in Capricorn and it will be at 1 degree Capricorn, we will do well in sort of keeping, it's a Saturn ruled sign, so a little bit of temperance rather than going overboard and doing too much and cooking too much and feeling resentful towards each other and etc. So we can release some of that pressure by making things simpler, I suppose. And also that new moon is square to Jupiter, so be careful not overdoing. That's the time when we really overdo stuff, right? And as always, check where that moon is in your chart. Where is that new moon falling? I mean, the new moon, apart from that square with Jupiter, it doesn't really do any particular aspect of 1 degree Capricorn, but it's like full on, right? It's a full on Capricorn season, which in fact, I haven't mentioned it, but it will be a day before. So on the 21st to the 22nd of December, I think the 22nd is when the sun moves into Capricorn and like kicking a start the Capricorn season, the time when we can really reassess our businesses, our commitments. What are our commitments? Are you committed to the things that really matter to you, that are really important to you? How you're doing that commitment? How are you honoring those commitments as well? Like, are you going in the direction that you'd like to go? And that would go with that Mars as well. Are you taking those actions that will be taking you to the right places? Well, this new moon can be a great new beginning just before, 1 week before the New Year's as well, to set some intentions that will be constructive, doing things that are constructive, going in the direction that is constructive for you. So yeah, this is it. That's the tip for this week. Don't forget to make the most of like a restful time as well. It's usually holiday, so take it easy. Ponder on these areas of your life there, and then and the assertion and all of that, and also a sense of direction. How do you plan your steps? Are they really going in the direction that you want it to go, or is it going all over the board, you know, and just getting a bit chaotic? So this is a great time to think about it. And that's it for today. I will be seeing you all next week. And until then,